है freedom सारी freedom equals time of life life माने एक joy ride Activa 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 scooter એટલે Activa
scooter बोले तो
Activa
Hello, you're watching Hornbill TV's newsroom. As we approach World Mental Health Day on October 10, this year's theme, Mental Health at Work, highlights an increasingly important aspect of our lives. In partnership with the World Health Organization, there is a growing recognition of the vital connection between mental health and the workplace. Safe and supportive work environments not only enhance employee well-being, but also contribute to productivity and overall organizational success. Joining me today is our Associate Editor, Alnguli, to discuss how we can create healthier workplaces and address the mental health challenges many face in their professional lives. So to start off, hi Sarel, thank you for joining me in this newsroom discussion.
Hello Naomi.
Yes sir. Sir, to start off with our today's discussion, as we discuss this year's theme of mental health at work, the theme is mental health at work for this year's World Mental Health Day. So it's important to recognize that many employees face various mental health challenges in their professional lives. Now, what are some of the common issues you see that impact workers' mental well-being, and how do these challenges, affect their performances and interactions in the workplace?
I think that the theme for this year's event is quite apt,
yes,
because the theme comes at a time when we are having conversation like we never had before about workplace toxicity, work pressure and stress, which all translate into anxiety, depression, or what we call workplace anxiety that we know as today. So I found it very interesting because India has never had that much of a conversation, especially at the policy and even social media circles, in regard to the seriousness of workplace anxiety, workplace stress and mental health. So it was, I saw the theme just now, and it was something that struck me as odd and something that was coincidental to what has been happening in India, especially with the earnest and young employee in Maharashtra. So there are a lot of complex elements at play here, Naomi. We cannot just point to a list of reasons that we can say, oh, this is the reason why this is happening. This is why employees are quitting. This is why employees are now more open to going to the labor tribunals or to the court to redress their issues. Or this is the reason why employees are committing suicide. So it is not something that we can point to a singular or a set of reasons. There are many. Some are overt, some are subtle, some are implied. So we cannot point to all these reasons altogether, but I think there are some that can be made explicit if we are talking about reasons. First thing, the whole idea of revenue. Basically, everywhere across the world, when we talk of the private corporate, we are talking about revenue, which demands much more from the employees than they would from, let's say, government workers, Naomi. So the culture of hustle is very, very high in the private corporate workplaces. So that is why the stress is higher for them, and the higher chances it is for them to fall ill or start having mental health issues. And then second, what we have now come to know, and fortunately conversations during this time, is that India is slowly moving away from that whole corporate mindset. That is the normalization of toxic leadership, Nami. So when we insult people in the workplace, we insult workers, or when we put them to stress, when we put them in a place of toxic interactions, when there is a lot of office politics, then our workers are told, oh, this is corporate, so it is normal, this is how it is. But no. The only difference here is that we normalize toxicity instead of responsible leadership or responsible work environments. So second is the normalization of toxic corporate. And third, one of the reasons why employees in the modern corporate setup, it could be in the media, it could be in private companies, public sector undertaking. The reason why we are not able to effectively address mental health issues faced by employees is because we have not given them a space for them to express their grievances, their anxieties, their pains, their problems. It is always about revenue, it is always about advertisement, money, money, money. You don't know what the employee is going through, the stress, the constant supervision that he has to work under. And it is not positive supervision, it is negative supervision. So they don't have that space to express themselves, their grievances. And even if they have grievances, if you take it to the leadership is not going to address it. They are going to be talked down, shouted down, or dismissed. So these are some of the issues that employees across the world face. And I'm not saying this is common. I still remember, and this is a shout out to the Morong Express guys. When I was there 8 years at the Morong Express. Every week we used to have an interaction, an informal interaction with a psychologist every week, Naomi. And we were acquainted with a lot of elements of positive thinking, positive interaction within the workers, the leadership, and the establishment at the Morong Express. During those times, we used to have that every week. And we used to make it a point to always give a space for fun also. When I was there at the Morong Express, we used to go out every week or every month to fish, to have picnics, all the workers. I don't know whether they do it now or not. So it motivated us, it encouraged us, and somehow the work was hard, but it was always an opportunity for us to, regain our confidence, our motivation to work another day. So that was the kind of space that we had there during the time at the Morong Express. And I wish more companies in Nagaland or the Northeast would do that. In India, you will find a lot of companies that is moving toward a positive workplace leadership. And they're moving towards, even at a policy level, ensuring that the workplace environment is not toxic or negative.
Mm-hmm. So this year's theme for World Mental Health Day is Mental Health at Work, and like you have mentioned just now earlier, sadly, this last month we heard the heartbreaking story of a 26-year-old EY employee in Pune, Maharashtra, who passed away, due to overwhelming workload. So, in light of this tragedy, sir, what are your thoughts on how companies should handle such high-pressure work environments? Are there any real steps that the corporate industry or the businesses can take to prevent such incidents and create a healthier work culture?
I think there's definitely a lot of work that not just the leadership or the companies themselves, but also the workers' inputs are required. So I think it is a solution only all the sides can work together at. It should not be only from one side. That aside, I think what happened in Pune was tragic. And fortunately, there are a lot of data companies that are coming up with numbers and figures that tell us about how severe workplace anxiety is, how severe mental health issues in the workplace in India is. What happened at Ernest Young in Maharashtra is tragic, but it is just one of thousands of cases. If you look at the wellness state of mental health in Indian workplaces, and that's the name of the report. So according to the wellness state of Indian workers, 64% of all young professionals in the age group 20 to 30, or somewhere in the 35 region, 20 to 35, they suffer extreme mental health issues. And all of them are related to their work. It's not about relationship. It's not linked to their families. It's not mostly to their private lives. It's more to do with the pressure, the stress, the depression, toxic leadership, toxic employees, toxic workplaces that is contributing to this. You can check it out. All our viewers, you can check it out on the internet. I think you'll find the wellness state of mental health in Indian workplaces. That's the name of the report. And interestingly, the Times also reported, Nami, that at least 41% of all workers across India who are in the age group 20 to 40 experience extremely high levels of depression on Sunday. And it is extremely interesting, Nami, because Sunday is a time we have a time for our family and for ourselves, just sit back and relax. And that's the time I think a lot of population of workers out there have Sundays as their days off. So now we should be sitting, singing, relaxing, listening to music, meeting friends and family, but you are sitting there depressed on Sunday. Why? Because you don't want to go to work on Monday. And if your work was a place where you had positive leadership, positive working environment, why wouldn't you want to go to work on Monday, Nami? So 41% of all young professionals 20 to 40 in India, especially in the private sector, experience a high level of stress on Sundays when it is their day off. So what do we do about this? I think the first should come from the corporate leadership first. Because no matter what you do, the decision that leads a company are decisions not taken by the moods, sentiments, or the goals of the employee. It is always directed by the vision, by the sentiment and the mood and the goals of the corporate leadership or the proprietorship. So the changes should come from there. How am I leading these people? Am I exploiting them? Am I paying less than they are working for? What is their work and their remuneration package balance? What is their life and work balance? Am I demanding too much? It should come from a place of introspection from the leadership. And then second, you make it into a policy. Third, you organize your workplace into components of leadership that has points of accountability, Nami. There is a reason why in certain areas of the corporate industry, there are companies that have extremely high attrition levels, which is attrition level is when you have too much conflict going on within leadership, within employees. So these are normally places where there is no accountability checks. For example, Nami, if you make a mistake in the newsroom, somebody, I or the editor or somebody higher up is going to come and say, hey Nami, you made a mistake. But if the leadership up there make a mistake, who is going to check them? Who is going to say, hey, you made a mistake? So that's the problem with us. Employees have taskmasters to penalize them, criticize them. But there is no one to check the people who are in the top management, for example. So this creates a lot of space for the employees. And you have heard of the labor tribunal. You have heard of employees going to the courts to demand justice. So all this can be avoided if we take accountability of our failings, both the leadership and the workers also, because the workers are not perfect. So if we can sit together, if we can also listen to each other, and of course, remember that we have family and our friends, a life outside the workplace that we need to feed on. So I think here we need to create a space where we respect each other's life also, because I know a lot of people who are suffering out there, a lot of people, especially in Nagaland, because of we are young people just emerging from the bamboo groves. We are just about 60 years old, Nagaland. We're just looking at the world that has been there for civilizations and civilizations, thousands and millions of years. And we are just learning about all these issues, and we can only hope that we will come at a place where employees are also treated with respect, and also we will have experienced leadership who can lead the corporate industry, who can lead the industry into a place where they can not only generate revenue but build communities and societies along the way.
Sir, so you have already shared some of the success stories by bringing up an example at Morang Express, how they initiated some kind of mental health program for the well-being of the employees. So I'll not focus on that now, but since you're also in the managerial team here at our office, I wanted to put this forward as well. So looking forward, sir, what changes do you think that businesses should consider, businesses or the corporate industry consider making to, better support mental health among their staff? Are there any, specific policies that you believe could make a real difference?
When we talk about laws, Naomi, we are in a place where we are expecting only the government to heal the wounds, to redress the grievances in the society, that only government through the laws can correct what is wrong, and maybe they can bring something positive out of it. So when we think about laws, we think the solution is only from the government. Even in the industry workplace, when we talk of solutions, we are thinking it's only the leadership that can bring in changes, and which is not entirely false. But here I want to stress that as someone who has been in leadership positions for many years, one thing I have learned is that while laws and regulation within a corporate community can ensure order and discipline and ensure a smooth production workflow, the most important leadership lesson that I have always held on to has been the way I treat people who are under me, in that sense. And there are a lot of things that corporate policy can do, impact changes, impact the working conditions of the workers, improve their welfare, increase or improve their packages, their economic returns. But all these intersect at a place where compassion and experience meet. Naomi, I tell you that I have never seen changes in an employee who was respected even by words, even by an acknowledgement of their contribution to a company. I have never seen the change through respect than I have seen that was made through a corporate policy or a rule. So I think at the heart of all this is to show respect first, respect to each other, respect to the leadership, yes, but more importantly, respect to the people who are working at the ground level, who are the ones getting their boots in the mud, who are the ones that is crawling through the line of fire. So respect is one of the most important elements of ensuring the workplace is respectful and thus positive, and thus it can motivate them. And second, experienced leadership is very important. I think we always talk about how many media organizations in the Northeast are now emerging. But you know, every organization is different from the next. We are at Hornbill TV right now, and we are a television news media company. But if you go to Nagaland TV, although they are also a news media company, their working system will be different because the people are different. In the same way, if you go to the Morning Express or Nagaland Post, even though they are from the print media, their working system will be very, very different from the other. So in all this jumble of complexities, what we need is experienced leadership, because the experienced leader understands the moods, the tones, the side and the conversations of that office which he leads. And he also understands the production process. He understands the complexity of technical work and mental work. So second, we need leaderships that are experienced in the work that they have been put in to lead. And third, I think we need to start appreciating the truths about mental health. It's not just in the workplace, it could be in the homes, it could be in relationships. Mental health is not something that you can take a knife and poke at it. It's not like a disease where you break your leg and oh, mental health, that's why it's called mental. It's inside. It's a disease, an illness that is inside of you. So I think it is time for us to really appreciate, think deeply about the condition of workers and how my leadership is affecting them, their productivity. What happened in Maharashtra, Ernest and Young, that employee, chartered accountant, I am sure, and I have seen over the industry, the remunerations, the packages that are given in the corporate industry, whether it's in the media or it's in the companies, revenue companies or the private sector undertakings, extremely high. And for a chartered accountant, you should not be going through all this. And even though she were highly paid, she went through all that. So money is not everything. I think we need a place where we also look past beyond the complaints of employees or the complaints of the leaders. We need to understand that there are much more complex things at work behind the scenes, and we need to be able to be experienced, knowledgeable, and most importantly, compassionate enough to understand this. And if we understand that, I think we will be able to come a little closer to a place where we can say, oh, we have solved this problem.
All right, thank you, sir, for joining me and sharing your insights on this topic today on mental health at the workplace. So, mental health is an essential part of our overall well-being, especially in the workplace. We hope this conversation inspires you to think about how you can contribute to a healthier work environment. For now, this is all. For more news and updates, keep watching Hornbill TV.